My name is Stephanie King, and I am a postdoctoral fellow at the University of Lethbridge Neuroscience Department. And my research involves transgenerational stress and how ancestral exposure to stress can affect the health of future generations. My mom was an analytical chemist, so I already grew up with a woman in science in my family, which was great. And so she eventually moved on to science management when I was a little girl. And so she would always tell stories about when she was a girl, she asked for a chemistry set instead of asking for dolls for Christmas, for example. And, I think she was really aided by the fact that both her parents were incredibly supportive of her pursuing her interests. And so my parents kind of did the same for me. So I'm an American citizen and I grew up in the Washington, DC area where you had all of the Smithsonian museums. And they were all less than an hour drive away. And so we would go see the dinosaur skeletons and the insect zoo, Baltimore Aquarium, that sort of thing. I really couldn't get enough of it. And so my grandmother also bought me this children's encyclopedia, and I read that thing from front to back multiple times. And later I started reading books written around science, like, for example, The Hot Zone, which was about the Ebola outbreak that happened in Reston, Virginia back in around early 90s. And so I eventually wanted to become an infectious disease specialist just like them. Now, mind you, I changed my mind along the way, but I was always kind of destined for more of that medical research. What I would basically like to say is don't ever let anyone try to fit you into a box or try to pressure you into or out of a certain job or field. I remember being the only girl in my PC tech repair course back in high school. It was definitely a boys' club and kind of intimidating. It was really kind of tough because I felt like, in a way, I was representing the potential of all girls in that classroom. So I better do really well or it bring us all to shame. So I'm really glad though that I stuck it out and because that one class provided me with skills I use to this day. And so we're taking so many strides to make the path of science and STEM field in general easier for women and more inclusive to many groups. And so right now in my field, we're pretty close to equality between men and women in the amount of graduate students that we're training, the amount of postdocs like myself, but we are still kind of working on getting equality there when it comes to the professor level or in science leadership. But we're going to get there in the next generation or the one after that. And so, what I'll have to say is that the more diverse population we have in science, the more diversity of ideas we will have to advance our scientific knowledge and go to places we never thought possible.